Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Your host Ram, as promised, welcome you back to the cricket show, Cricket Happenings. And as I was talking to you yesterday, it was South Africa versus Australia at the Sydney Cricket Ground, the final day, and one was waiting to see whether the South Africans could avoid a defeat. Well, they did. So that's the good news that South Africa, thanks to two people, I will say that South Africa managed to avoid a defeat in this final test, thus saving face for themselves with the Aussies winning the test series 2-0. And the two persons, as I said, I will be giving full credit to these two players who did a marvelous job. I mean, I told you yesterday that Marco Hansen was the key there, but I was proved entirely wrong because Marco Hansen was a victim of the bowling of the part time off spinner Travis Head for 11. And one thought probably the end of South Africa, probably South Africa were going to follow on. But I can tell you one thing here that this partnership, according to me, was the turning point in the game that definitely saved South Africa from losing against Australia because the amount of time consumed by these two players, one is Keshav Maharaj, who got 53 with 6 fours and 1 6. His was most of, I would say, still he was still, he was really keeping the scoreboard busy. But Simon Harmer, to me, was the surprise packet because he contributed 47 in that partnership with Keshav Maharaj, which, as I said, in the morning, Marco Hansen wicket was gone. I mean, the pace bowlers were bowling, but they could not get any breakthroughs. It was Travis Head who provided them the vital breakthrough. And after that, and already there's a lot of roughs created in on the pitch, and it was only a matter of Nathan Lyon or Travis Head or even Ashton Agar trying to pitch the ball on the rough. So one has to give tremendous credit to this partnership that happened, which took the score from 167 for 7 when Marco Hansen departed. And this particular partnership has yielded 85 runs to the good. And also look at Simon Harmer, the contribution being 47. He consumed, I believe, if I'm not wrong, he consumed 165 deliveries. So he kept them at bay. And this partnership was something where, Keshav Maharaj, he was still playing with refreshing freedom. But as far as Simon Harmer was concerned, he was showing some very good defense at the crease. There was not much of an aggressive shots from Simon Harmer. The odd boundary was hit, but they were also served with a lot of short stuff. Josh Hazelwood, Pat Cummins, everybody, served them some short stuff. But definitely, both the batsmen negotiated them in the best possible manner. And well, the results are there to see. So Australia, who probably were eyeing a clean sweep of the series, had to be content with a 2-0 series win over the South Africans. But as I said, these two have really saved the face for South Africa in this, this particular Test series by putting up a grand show with that partnership of 85 runs. So really take a bow, Simon Harmer and Keshav Maharaj. And also remember one thing. Now, Simon Harmer and Keshav Maharaj are not frontline batsmen. They are coming on they definitely have the ability to bat, but they are coming on the lower order of the spectrum. And besides that, you're talking about a final day pitch. It has rained. The spinners can play havoc on this pitch with the rough being created. So definitely, yes, probably some of the catches Australia might have been probably guilty. A lot of catches didn't go on hand. Some catches were spilled as well, which is something which can which one also has to take into consideration. But I believe that bit of luck was required for Simon Harmer and Keshav Maharaj to go through, and they did it admirably. And then finally, only after, I mean, they kept the Australian bowlers, really, trying to work very hard, and they consumed one full session, and there was no wicket falling between the start of the game and between the first session before lunch. And only after lunch, it was, and one was thinking at lunch when both these batsmen were well entrenched at the crease, and they are already, I think, breached the 250 mark, I reckon. But one was thinking the follow on could be averted, but it was not to be. There was also a talk going on among the commentators where Howard asked whether the Aussies, whether the South Africans could probably, instead of, playing the whole hog, probably declare the innings. So when you declare the innings, the Aussies have to get into the picture at that time, because I mean, if they had declared, the Aussies would have to bat, so some time would have been consumed. But nothing of that sort happened. The South Africans continued to play, and finally they were bowled out for 255 after lunch. Keshav Maharaj, LBW bowled Hazelwood for 53, but Simon Harmer also fell a victim to Hazelwood for 47. This was the second new ball actually doing the trick. He was gone for 47, four boundaries. Rabada, cotton ball, line for three. Nokia, not out, not 255 all out South Africa. And now it was the South Africans who were following on. Has been definitely they're falling short. They fell short by 25 runs. Looking at the bowling, Hazelwood was, I would say, peerless. 23 over 7 maidens, 48 runs and 4 wickets, supported in a magnificent manner by the Australian captain, Pat Cummins. 23 over 7 maidens, 60 runs and 3 wickets. Nathan Lyon working very hard, showing that he's a veteran spinner. 40 over 16 minutes, 88 runs and 2 wickets. 14 overs, 3 minutes, none for 30. Ashton Agar could not contribute anything. Had got one for 21, a very vital wicket of Marco Hansen, because if Marco Hansen would have stayed, there would have been more headaches for Australia. But nevertheless, the bottom line was that South Africa saved face. Now, let's look at the second dig of the South Africans following on. Now, this was an interesting battle. One was really, really waiting for it. It was Dean Elgar versus the Australian bowlers. So this was the second dig, and the Aussie bowlers, George Hazelwood, Pat Cummins, they really had a big dig at Dean Elgar. They did not allow him to settle. He was not looking very confident at the crease. The South African captain. There was a real battle ensuing between both these Australian bowlers and Dean Elgar. And finally, Dean Elgar was kept at the crease. Some short stuff was served at him. It was a sort of an accelerating battle between bat and ball when Dean Elgar was at the crease. And one was really waiting to see what would happen, because Dean Elgar, the South African captain, as I said yesterday, has been a non-contributor in this Test series, which has really contributed in a big way to the discomfiture of the South African debacle in this Test series, especially considering that this is a rebuilding team with lots of inexperienced people having their first trip to Australia. So Dean Elgar, the battle was really hot, red hot, one could call, and Elgar was there was a few appeals being turned down, but and finally Dean Elgar, who has been very guilty of actually going and nicking the ball down the leg side, precisely did that. When Cummins was rewarded, then Cummins decided to stick to that particular line, and Dean Elgar was caught behind by Alex Carey. A good catch by Alex Carey. Dean Elgar had once again disappointed as he went and tried to play it through his hip, his front hip, and the ball, he fended awkwardly, and it was all over. And Dean Elgar was so disappointed he was just trying to trudge. He was just trudging from the crease to the pavilion, and it was a joyous scenes for the Australian bowlers. They were very happy. They were extremely happy because they knew that they wanted to win this battle against against Dean Elgar, and they did it. And as I said, Dean Elgar had a wretched series. I believe he scored probably less than 50 runs, or probably more than 50, just a touch above 50, one could call. And Dean Elgar, the South African captain, according to me, had a really a wretched series. And that was a battle that one was really waiting for, and it happened. Sorry, Larry, 100. I mean, I have to give him 100% marks. He's a very talented cricketer. He was there till the end with an unbeaten 42. They knew that the South Africans knew that they had to save the match, and that's what the job of Sarah Lerby. Sarah Harvey has a solid defense. He has some good strokes as well, and it was really good to watch Sarah Lerby, who is a very most talented opener for South Africa. And what a way he actually grinded the Australian attack to see to it that the South Africans ended with a draw in the final test match. He was not out on 42, six fours included in that. Henrik Klaasen, he really, he did a good job. He tried to stay with Sarah Lerby, played a few good strokes. His contribution being 35 before being castled by Josh Hazlewood. It saw some reverse swing bowling. Klaasen was caught at the crease, and that was the end of Henrik Klaasen. So he was gone for 35, three boundaries. Temba Bavuma, as he has been doing in this series, has been the man who has been standing in front of the Aussie pace attack by really defying them, and he did that to see to it that the this particular test match ended in a draw, not out 17, one boundary. The final test between South Africa and Australia ending in a draw with the bowling. Hazelwood 1 for 9. Ashton Agar again could not get amongst the wickets. Pat Cummins 1 for 16. Nathan Lyon the second innings none for 32. Travis and Stephen Smith had a ball as well after just before lunch, the solitary over. Manus Labuschagne 2.5 overs only 1 for 9. And since I've been talking on this South African Australia Test match, let me also just talk about the series, and I'll keep the talk on the South Africans because the South Africans are the ones who have been really been given a real beating here by the Aussies. So Dean Elgar, as I told you, has been primarily responsible. Yes, Sarah Lerby, yes, he has had even though one wouldn't call it a best series, but Sarah Lerby has done well for himself, no doubt about it. Klaasen just got one game. Bauma has done a good thing. Probably one would have expected some runs from him, which was not forthcoming. Kaya Zondo has shown that he has the ability. Kyle Verina has been impressive, but one could have probably thought that Kyle Verina could have contributed more than what he did. Hansen has definitely shown himself very well. Simon Harmer, not with the ball, but with the bat, showed that he has the staying capacity. And let's remember that Simon Harmer is probably 39 years old. Keshav Maharaj has done a good job. Probably he could have been expected to do or contribute more. Kagiso Rabado has been another weak link. Like as I said, Dean Elgar and Kagiso Rabada were the experienced blokes in this team. So Kagiso Rabada with the ball has not been the Rabada that we know. He's the prime strike bowler, but it didn't look like. But Nokia, according to me, looked the real prime strike bowler. He bowled with red hot pace and saw to it that the Australian batsman did not get away with anything. And Nokia was really, I think, a sort of a very saving grace for the South Africans. His bowling was something which had to be really admired. As I said, red hot pace. Now, looking at the For Aussies, well, their next trip or the next journey is to India. There's a lot of talk going on that when they come to India, how many spinners are they going to get? They were probably thinking that this SCG pitch would be something that which would be likened to what they would be facing in India, but it was not to be, with rain playing spoiled sport. So it will be interesting to see. My vote for a spinner would be Mitchell Sweepson, because for the simple reason that he went into the subcontinent conditions in Pakistan and he picked up a few wickets, a really handful of wickets. So I think he would be the best bet, according to me. There's a lot of talk going on who is going to go, whether Ashton Agar will go, but Ashton Agar, looking at the way he did against the South Africans, I my take, or my I would rather plump for Mitchell Sweepson. Rishi Mukherjee, yes, I'm a bit late in responding. Well, my friend, Australia probably could have won the third test. I'm not against it. Yes, rain hampered one full day, but I think Rishi, yes, probably. I mean, I can't, I wouldn't say very positively that Australia would have won. One does not know what could have transpired, but probably we would have had a good match as well, good matchup as well. Yeah, maybe it could have happened. Maybe Australians could have won, or it could have been a draw. Once again, one does not know. But there would have been probably a chance for Australia that they could have gone and done a clean sweep of the series. Yes, Rishi, I really agree with your statement here. I agree. I agree, Rishi. Okay. Okay. Thanks for coming on to my show, Rishi, and sharing your remarks here. Okay. Now I'm going to get on to a different thing. And as you know, right now, we saw how New Zealand actually completed the T20 series the Test series against Pakistan, which ended in a winless draw. So basically, it was 0-0. Now it is we are shifting over to something which is going to be the flagship of the year 2023, the One Day International World Cup, which is coming up in India this October. Definitely, all the teams are preparing for the World Cup. This is a sort of a real practice session for them. Just building up for the 2023 ODI World Cup in India, and just keeping the talk on that. We are talking about New Zealand taking on Pakistan in the first One Day International tomorrow in Karachi. And Pakistan are having a very good record in One Day Internationals. So that is some sort of confidence for them. And we saw a very, very well contested series between Pakistan and New Zealand. And let's have a look at the Pakistan team. They're led by Babar Azam, the captain. Fakar Zaman is back. Imamul Haq has been in some good nick. Shan Masood has become Pakistan's new vice captain. So Shan Masood, according to me, he plays strokes, no doubt about it. But I think he will provide the solidity to the Pakistani team, according to me. Haris Sohail, that's good to see. Haris Sohail is a very, very talented cricketer. Mohammad Rizwan is back after Sarfraz Ahmed was preferred. And Mohammad Rizwan, definitely, we all know what he can do, but he might be a bit under pressure, especially considering that he was in the dropped in between the series. So he would like to prove a point or two here. Salman Ali Aga would probably try to bring that sort of confidence that he got this maiden test done into the ODI mix. Usama Amir, then they have Mohammad Wazim, who is definitely building himself to actually get into this Pakistani lineup. Haris Rauf, we all know, would be the man the eyes would be on, and Naseem Shah is another. Naseem Shah in the Test series proved quite a handful. He bowled excellently. So Haris Rauf coming back will definitely strengthen the team, and we all know what Haris Rauf. But the only question for me whether Harris Roth can be as effective as he has been in Australian pitches in his home turf. That would be the question for me. But again, if he bowls in the right areas, that could probably work out. New Zealand, Finn Allen, very very talented cricketer, and he would like to take advantage of the power play along with Devon Conway, who's in some good form. Kane Williamson, the captain, will lead, so Kane Williamson comes back to captain the side in the ODI version of things. Daryl Mitchell, a very good white ball cricketer. Tom Latham will do the keeping duties. Glenn Phillips, well, he's another one who can smack the ball. Bracewell will be very, very interesting. I think one is really seeing a huge future for Michael Bracewell in the New Zealand mix of things. East Sodhi is coming on some brilliant form in the last test. He has shown with the bat, he has shown with the ball as well. So he's looking terrific, according to me. And then Tim Southey and Lockie Ferguson will share the new ball. Lockie Ferguson's pace will be something that Pakistan will be tested. Tim Saudi. And okay, let's talk about this guy. There is one new kid on the block. His name, Henry Shipley. Henry Shipley has been doing very well in domestic cricket. First, let's talk about his height. He's 2 meters tall. So he's a very tall guy. He's very well built, unlike Kyle Jamieson, who probably is a bit on the slimmer side. But this bloke, Shipley, is very well built. He has a nice height, nice physique, and an ideal build for a fast bowler. And I'm told that he basically operates in the way Kyle Jamieson operates, where he gets the ball to move away. He has some good pace as well. He hits some very good pace rates, and I think his short stuff might also be something that might be probably testing the Pakistanis. But it will be interesting to see. And also, let's not forget the fact that he's coming into this team as an all-rounder. So he has the ability to tonk the ball a real mile, one could call, because he definitely has the ability. He has a good strike rate in the New Zealand domestic season, and he is someone to watch, in my opinion. So it will be a sort of a surprise for Pakistan. They would probably have to have a look at him, and he might be the surprise packet as well. Well, dear fans, friends, subscribers, I think this probably brings an end to this cricket show of mine, but definitely would love to connect with you. But now, again, my next cricket show will be when I see you blokes, see you guys on Saturday and Sunday. Till such time, it's goodbye from here. Thank you.